we are going to hop in with your best predictions on what Felipe actually said to this young lady. What do y'all think he said? He cheated? You think he cheated on her already? My lord. My goodness. I'm about to start it up. I wanted to give everybody a chance to enter before I started that. But yeah, I always let y'all know when I'm getting on and what's going on. Let me find a cute couples photo from Married at First Sight. Let's see. Y'all think he cheated on her? Like, I'm serious though. Do y'all really think that he cheated? Like Felipe cheated on Tori? I am on YouTube now. Everybody can join me over there. If you guys are not already over there, it is linked in my bio. He either cheated or told her he's not ready yet. So okay. Let's start with them because, okay. Turtle needs to go back and hide. Turtle feels like he is God's gift to women. I don't know who told Turtle that he is God's gift to women, but Felipe totally believes that he is. Hey, welcome in, friends. How are you? And so with Felipe, we see him telling Tori time and time again that he's trying to decide if he still wants to be married to her. So he's got one foot in. Yes, I already have my notes from Love is Blind, already binge watched it. We'll be going live talking about that this week. But you think he asked her for an open marriage, Jewel. I like that idea because that's also what I feel like he asked her for as well. Either open polygamy or some type of thing where they're in multiple, what do you want to call it? Like a sister wives type situation? Is that the word, guys? Polygamy basically is what I feel like he might have said, or an open marriage where they both do their own thing within the marriage. However, I am not opposed to that. I just don't know why she's hiding it. Is considered inappropriate to say? I really do want to understand, but is being in an open marriage inappropriate to ask your wife for? That's also a different conversation. Do you guys feel like it's inappropriate? China, welcome over. You he better not have fixed his lips to say that. Okay. It's inappropriate for him. Okay. So here's my thing. Oh, I have no idea. We're speculating. We're just speculating. So here's my thing, right? I've told y'all this before. Hey, Lake D, welcome in. I've said this, okay? I don't think anything's wrong with asking for anything you want. My mama used to say this all the time. She ain't mean it in this way, but she used to say all people can say to you is yes or no. Yes or no. That's the only thing that people can say to you. So this is why I was never mad at Shawn for asking for physical affection as many times as he did, because it didn't bother me. All Nikki can say is yes or no. And that's totally up to her, right? If you go to your teachers at school and you ask for an extension, all they can say is yes or no. You go to your job and you ask for a raise, all they can say is yes or no. And I think a lot of y'all miss y'all blessings because y'all too scared to ask and you consider it inappropriate. If he asked and she said no, why is she still talking to him? That's the question mark I have. Is your self-esteem or your esteem of self so low that you say, hey, Jessica Boo, welcome in. Is your self-esteem so low, Tori, that you will go back to a man that you're saying no to in the lifestyle that he wants, thinking that he's gonna change for you? Because I guarantee you he's not. I guarantee you, a man that asks you to be a polygamist isn't asking because he plans on becoming monogamous. A man who has the audacity to ask you to be with other women, like if he didn't say polygamy, he might have said an open marriage. If he said that, welcome in, bae. If he said that, I don't think she should have such poor self-esteem that she runs back to him. Does that make sense? I'm trying to figure out what she's expecting to come of this, because ain't no way, baby. Ain't no way a man that's interested in polygamy is gonna change for you. You're wasting your time, my time, the TV's time, the producer's time, your mama's time. You got family involved in this now, in a marriage that's a sham, because he ain't gonna change. He gonna cheat. Hello, he gonna cheat. Felipe is going to cheat if he asks her to be with multiple partners. I think he just presented it as, what do you think about this? Like soft launching it. Exactly, bae. Which again is totally fine. However, when she says no, the consequences are, what is the consequences of saying no? Because that's what I always think of. So like if my partner said, okay, I need a wife who cooks every day, I ain't doing that. So what are the consequences of that? Like when you don't have a wife that cooks every day, then are you going to go out and cook, learn how to cook for yourself? Or and me, are you willing to go out and buy, hey Trees, welcome in, boo. Are you willing to go get bag lunches for us? Like, what is the other option if you don't? And when somebody asks you, like Felipe, and he's already told you, I want to sleep with other women, if the desire is that strong that he would come on national television and say that, y'all, that man gonna cheat on her. I'm so sorry. I know we love Tori. We love Tori. I know that. But he gonna cheat on her if that's what he asked her to do and she said no. And so her coming back to him, mind blown. Mind blown when it comes to Tori and Felipe. What were we having a conversation about when you said you want to be, no woman can change a man, and especially not in that way, because really and truly, that is a lifestyle choice. When somebody soft launches polygamy to you, they're not soft launching anything. They're telling you what they're going to do, which is be with other women. Felipe is not going, I mean, she's gorgeous, but he's not going to settle for just one gorgeous woman. He wants 10 because he feels like he's a babe, a hunk, a stallion. I don't know what he calls himself, but he thinks he's something special, that his gift must be shown to multiple women. I know all y'all can't wait to be with Felipe, honey. I know y'all dream about it at night. Y'all just can't wait to be next to that hunk of a man. I know it. I think whatever she said no to, it doesn't even matter if he said, okay, cool, never mind then, because whatever it is has now tainted her view of him. That part. Myla is hilarious. You trying to get next to Shawn. That's a 10. Baby, that man fine. I might put him up on the screen next. I know Tori bad, but she might have to go. I might put my boo on the Shawn. Baby, that's a 10 in New York, 10 in Mississippi, 10 in Seattle. He a 10 everywhere he go. Nikki's the 7 in this situation. She's lucky to be with a Shawn. So... So welcome in, everybody. My name is Bo. I'm your live host. We're covering all things Married at First Sight, season 20, episode 18. Guys, I am going to leave TikTok. So I tell y'all this every day. Make sure you guys are subscribed to my YouTube. If not, the link is in my bio. We're going to switch over to the YouTube live. Same thing is here. Y'all comment, like, share it out once y'all get over there. We're going to go full blown into each one of these couples and the whole entire episode. You'll die alone. Dang, China. I'm gonna give y'all a couple seconds to go ahead and flip over to YouTube. And Mecca is into Caitlyn. You think so? Y'all go ahead, switch over to the YouTube. We're gonna talk about Mecca and Caitlyn because I think that's hilarious and I can't get enough of it because I'm messy and I love it. Oh, you're not late? No. We're switching over to YouTube Live. I'm already live over there. So you guys just go hit the link in my bio and come on over. We're already here. We're dual streaming between TikTok and YouTube. And I'm just over here already. So I'll see you guys over there. Bye to the rest of you guys. See you back here soon. I'm over on YouTube at That's So Trending. Link is in my bio. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining, everybody. All right. So let's clock in. Okay, so Felipe and Tori, let's talk about them. This man has told her repeatedly, right, that he didn't want to get married, or he didn't know how, he was on the fence about marriage, right? She knows he's a mama's boy. She's done everything for him all his life. His daddy gave him his job. His mama decorated his apartment. His mama does his laundry. His mama makes sure he's good. Hey, his mama is his world, and he's expecting her to step into that role. She settled for all of that, right? She's cool with that. Like, you just ain't got no manliness. Matter of fact, my car break down, all you got for me is this and a pat on the hand, okay? So if she settles for all of that, that's why I almost feel like it wasn't even the polygamy thing. I could be wrong, y'all. That's a really good guess. I thought the way she said it was, do you feel like something about what you asked me is normal? I thought that maybe he was admitting that he has like a gambling debt. He has an other type of lifestyle, meaning he puts out spends a lot of money on porn or other women. I don't know. I thought he had a real type of addiction or something that made her frightened, because nothing's new about this. Hey girl. um I think that for Tori, when I heard that, I really did think that he was doing something weird, sketchy. Maybe he let some of his businesses fail. He was out partying so much that he lost so much money. What did y'all think? Because I really did think that when I heard it. I didn't think it was related to polygamy. And then I thought about it and I was like, I guess. I think it's let's date, not get married. Or like you said, some kind of crazy debt. And he's lax about that. Yes, because I can totally see a world in which his dad gave him access to business funds and maybe he misused it. He's in a world of debt trying to pay it back. Maybe he misappropriated the funds of something else and like got in there. Yeah, my thoughts were too, because asking for, I get it, for some people that's a strange request, right? And I'm not gonna take away from that. Like if being with multiple people is weird to you, it's weird to you, but that's not something to hide to me. Unless, I think the debt thing is more shameful. I don't think it's something to hide. What you saw on there, Shanti? On the Married at First Sight fan page. But like, I don't think being with multiple women is something to hide. Again, let me know though. Did you peep when the car was breaking down and Felipe said he's there for moral support? I sure did. He did this number to her in the car. I saw it. I hated it. And I moved on. But we don't like that man. So either way, like no matter what he did, I would have been looking sideways at him. He's such a weirdo. And that's my own bias. But like, yeah, I'm not here for it. Oh, that doesn't surprise me. So I was talking, well, I was not. Somebody was talking to Paul, and apparently Paul knew that this man had a plethora of dating apps up until the day that they chose him to be with Tori. That man had dating apps galore. He said he was scrolling for so long on his phone trying to delete them when they told him that he had been paired with a wife. And I do believe that that is true. I do believe that Felipe was, that's why he feels like he's God's gift to the world. It's because he was picking up all these easy women off of these dating sites that I guess we've never heard of, because I only know of three. It's like Tinder, Hinge, and Bumble. That's the three I know of. So, oh, Plenty of Fish is the fourth one. I don't even know nothing else. How do you have pages and pages of dating apps? And most of them are probably hookup apps. Maybe Grindr's in the mix. We don't know. He always talking about being lonely, but he creates relationships of no substance. Exactly. Girl, so I was on this app called, it's like a regular streaming app like this. And this girl was like, yeah, you should get on Plenty of Fish. If I showed y'all the men on Plenty of Fish, all the missing side tooths on there, all the men that were like in their 40s and 50s still on that app, it's alarming what's on Plenty of Fish when it comes to Black men in particular. Everybody looked just not their best, not their best. And so the fact that she recommended that to me was crazy. But anyways, neither here nor there. Tori, I want her to run from Felipe. Let's go through this really quick, because I want to get into the good part, which is actually probably Mecca and Caitlin. Yeah, I met my, so when I was, yeah, lived. You live and you learn. I can't even log into my computer. Okay, there we go. Oh, tomorrow, guys, if you guys have not already binge watched Love is Blind UK Season 3, please go do that, okay? Love is Blind UK Season 3 is out. I've already watched all of the episodes, so tomorrow we're going to start with episodes 1 and 2, and we're going to go live and talk about those, so I'll meet you guys here on YouTube. Today, we're just finishing up Married at First Sight, the most recent episodes, but yeah, Love is Blind UK Season 3. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Oh, you're watching it now? Yeah, Shanti, I have watched all of it, taken my notes. I'm ready to go, but y'all got to catch up. So I'm giving y'all some time and some grace. Okay. And then I haven't been posting about it either, because I was like, I doubt people who are watching Married at First Sight have stopped to even give it a chance yet. So yeah, Love is Blind UK. Let me see. Hopping into episode 18. Lord, I took more notes on episode 18 than I remember. Okay. Okay. So maybe more did happen in this episode than I remember. Couples retreat final morning. Devin announced at the breakfast that me and Kate are calling it. It's just in a continual power struggle and of who needs to be right. Do y'all get that from their relationship, that Devin is in a power? Hey, Shanny, welcome in, girl. Do y'all get that he's in a power struggle with Caitlyn? Or do y'all just feel like Caitlyn don't like him? Because I feel like Caitlyn just don't like him. I don't know why he keeps bringing himself into this. I do know why he does that, because he's a very nice guy. But I wish he would stop. You are not the problem, Devin. Caitlyn is the problem. And I'm going to put their picture up here if I can find a decent one. Caitlyn is the issue, and I don't know why he keeps bringing himself down with Caitlyn. I know you were paired with her, but that girl was trifling, and you are not. You are not in a power struggle with her. She just is in a power struggle with him. And actually, I did a video about this. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch my Mecca and Belle one. I feel like the power imbalances in this relationship are very clear, because people like Devin, actually her being off my screen isn't bad. People like Devin are being evaluated constantly by their partner. And you got people like Caitlyn with the upper hand. With Shawn, I feel like Nikki had the upper hand, or she wanted it by making him feel smaller because he wasn't as attractive as she wanted him to be. And when she couldn't get it, did you see how upset she was? When Caitlyn wanted the upper hand with Devin, though, he gave it to her. For the last 6 weeks, he has done everything to audition for this marriage. He has jumped through every hoop and every loop to make her happy. And Devin is trying his best, but he's giving in to this power struggle with her. I don't think it's a power struggle. He just gave her the power. Shawn is, and this is why I tell y'all are looking for the Cordells, because Serena also was from Love Island. She was in a power struggle with Cordell, and he just gave her all the power. If we watch the men that y'all like and admire, is Devin and is Cordell. Why? Because they don't push back on any of your BS. And they don't have expectations of you. Like, I really do want to do a deep dive on the psychological impact that some of these women are having when they watch these shows. And I feel like a lot of women are basically saying, if you are not my lapdog, and if you are not a lapdog to a woman, you're not likable. And that's so interesting to me, how men with simple expectations of their wives are sometimes viewed as the villain. And when they hold their ground, my God, because I will never forgive y'all for making Kendall from Love Island season 6 the villain for getting in Serena's face when she cussed them out for 45 minutes straight. Y'all didn't say nothing. And he did want to believe that she liked him or could grow to like him. I think he knew she didn't like him, but he was hoping that she would grow to like him. I don't think that this man, like, really understood how she was making him jump through so many hoops and loops, and was never gonna like him, never gonna choose him fully, because that's just not who she is. She's miserable. I didn't see it as flirting either. I didn't. Now, Marissa says that Kate seemed like they were turning over a new leaf and really trying. Marissa, what are you talking about? I don't even know why Marissa is chiming in. You in a marriage with a man that don't even want you. He want a PE teacher as his girlfriend so they can just run up and down the court all day and talk smack to each other when they're on his jet ski. He don't want you. He don't want a woman. He want a PE teacher to push him. That's what he want. And I don't know why she thought that Caitlyn was gonna turn over a new leaf with Devin. She was never gonna do that. And Caitlyn says, we aren't even arguing the same argument. And I love that Devin's fed up with her and not trying anymore, because this is the attitude he should have had initially. Devin said it's because you don't listen and I'm tired of being disrespected. Why didn't you say that initially, Devin? Why didn't you say that day too? Why did it take you 8 weeks to get to the point of being fed up with her foolishness? I think that for me, Devin, and there's another girl on here who I think feeds into this really bad white woman syndrome. And I love that fact that you added that smirk part, because it makes me think of her. To me, Devin is not the villain here. But there are lots of women who have been waiting all season to call him the villain. And so the one moment that he flips on her, and I told y'all he did this in her face, and Belle pulled him back, they're now using that to justify their claims that he's a bad person. Instead of saying she pushed him to the brink of his breaking point and he's tired of being disrespected. Because would Nikki have stood there? Would y'all have expected Nikki to withstand this treatment from Shawn? If Shawn talked to Nikki like this, would y'all say the same thing if she got in his face and put her hand in here? Talk to me down here. Would you have not? Would you have taken this right here from Nikki as a violent or abusive, or as proof that Nikki is a bad person? Okay, so why are we transferring that label onto the men the moment that they're no longer putting up with these women's foolishness? Because I gotta ask, it's like, it really is, bae. It really is. I gotta ask you, are you actually looking at the facts, or are you looking at their genders? And I feel, if I'm watching somebody lose their cool because they're talking to them the way that she was talking, I'm not judging it. Whatever happens, happens. Like, don't get me wrong. I told y'all when Anaya stood over Casey like that, whatever happens, happens. You know, I told y'all when he put his hand in her face like that, whatever she did, I can't justify it. You know, if she hit him, that's on them, because he shouldn't have put his hand in her face like that. That's threatening to some people. What I will say, though, is that when this happened, I didn't see him as a bad person. I don't see Anaya as a bad person. I really don't. And I don't see them as naturally violent. But if the response had been met with violence, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. Whatever comes of you standing in somebody's face and yelling at them comes. And Devin, whatever came from that, came from that. I'm not going to make excuses for that one instance. But what I will say is that you're not a villain for it. You're not a villain for somebody's telling you to shut the F up and you going off on them. You're not a villain, babes. You're not. And to call him a bad guy and you knew all along, no, you were looking for your confirmation bias. That's exactly what it is. You wanted to confirm that he was a bad guy. So the one time that he raised his voice at her, you justified that as why you thought he was a bad guy. And I think we got to undo some of that. Devin set one boundary. He told her behind the cameras, and again, the next day in front of the cameras. She violated that boundary. Period. Period. He did. Not only did he do that, but he planned every date that they had. I want y'all to look back over the season. Tell me, when has Caitlyn ever planned a date for him or an outing for his family that we've seen? And I also want you guys to think about everything that he invested to get her to like him, including losing his jokes or his jokey personality for her. I don't think that we can measure that output as like equal between these two, because it wasn't equal. It wasn't fair. This relationship was just terrible for Devin. I think Caitlyn, the reason she was so happy was because he was willing to shrink himself. I told y'all at the beginning that was how I felt Shawn was being treated by Nikki. I think Nikki expected for him to be her lapdog, never make requests of her, never ask her to do anything, never argue with her. And a lot of women, I think when y'all see a man that stands up for himself from the very first day, you guys consider him to be sassy. You guys will say something like, "Oh, that man is zesty. That man is sassy. He be running his mouth when he need to be quiet." No, he needs to assert himself, and that's what Devin did not do. Um, he did go to the Taylor Swift concert, but for me that wasn't a big deal. It was more so him losing himself on a daily, because I can do anything for one day, and I will. Like, if you like the Odyssey, I don't care. I don't care. I will go watch the Odyssey with you. I will go watch what is that movie, Spider-Man? Somebody's out right now. I will go do all those things and I will never complain. However, if I gotta shrink myself or not show up as my full self for you, I'm not doing it. And he did it for 8 weeks. Like, he really did dial his personality down for her. I'm not doing that. If you can't accept my full self, because this is another thing. I think we're also more comfortable with men auditioning for a role in a relationship that he doesn't have to earn. This is the thing. When you sign up to get married at first sight, or you sign up for an arranged marriage, you sign up for that person's full self. And is everything going to work initially? No. You're going to clash. You're going to bump heads. That's normal. I don't think that makes him sassy or zesty, and I don't think that makes you difficult. But you guys have to compromise on everything because you're merging two lives. And she didn't want to compromise on anything. It was her way or the highway. And that was it. And after the breakfast, Kate was like, "Can I get a ride home with somebody?" And I was like, that's embarrassing. That's really, really embarrassing. Babe, you can't even hold your marriage together for 3 days at a retreat. Like, that's so sad and so embarrassing. But I do want to circle back to her flirting with Mecca. They were clearly flirting. And I don't care what nobody say. I'm going to release a video about it tomorrow with the whole episode recap. But, like, no, actually, that video was up today. Guys, if you have not watched my recap, go watch the recap for more on that situation. But my recap is up. It's about 20 minutes long for the last episode. I am going to put the chapters in the description as well as in the comments to pin it so you guys can see what couples I'm talking about where. But you guys could go there for that. After breakfast, though, she has to hitch a ride home. And Devin just leaves. And I've never been so happy to watch somebody cry as a man walks out the front door. I have never felt so vindicated. I've never felt so vindicated as watching him pack his suitcase and get in the car and her sit on that couch spaced out crying, because in all actuality she was never going to find a better man. The same way y'all feel about Felipe when he talks about Tori, I feel about Devin when Caitlyn talks about him. You're never going to find a better man, Caitlyn. And girl, you just lost a good one because you weren't ready for this experience. I went outside, y'all, and my nose is like, girl. But yeah, you messed this up, babes. And nobody else is at fault. He did the best he could with what he had. And he didn't have a lot to work with. He didn't. His wife sucked. And he still made it work for 8 weeks. How? I don't know. I don't know, because I would have been gone. I'm sorry. I'm not sticking around while you put me through all these tests to figure out if I'm good enough for you and I already have the role. That would be like you working at your job for 8 weeks and then they ask you to fill out all your applications. Are y'all okay? I am not about to now fill out an application for a job I already have. You either accept the work that I've been giving you or let me go. But I'm not going backwards. Yeah, and I'm glad that she didn't chase him. She's not ready for him. Like, let somebody go. When you are not ready for them, let them go. If she would have chased Devin, I would have been more upset with her, because how dare you be that selfish to show up so poorly as a wife and then chase after him when he's ready to free himself from you. And he's giving you every opportunity, ample time to do something else, and you didn't do it. And then not only that, but when he confronts you about flirting with another man in front of his face, you decide to deflect and make it seem like it's in his head, like he's crazy. He's not crazy. I watched it too. I know I'm not crazy. First of all, I watched what he watched, and I got the same conclusion. You like Mecca. Because one thing about it, she definitely stood there and fist bumped him and said, I feel cool with you just talking to me. Were those not her exact words? Because that's what I heard. I have an issue with that. Devin is Devin is talking in his confessional, and he's saying that he's proud of the effort that he put in. I want to say that I don't know, Devin. Like, I want to be proud, but I don't feel good about somebody mistreating you. I don't know, y'all. Like, I get what he's saying, but I would have said, in my confessional, I would have been like, I put in too much effort. I let myself down in many ways by trying to shrink myself to fit into Caitlyn's life. I'm not okay with him giving so much to Caitlyn and her giving nothing to him in return. And he's like, oh, I'm proud of the effort I put in. You should be proud of yourself for leaving, for not standing there and putting up with that humiliation ritual that she wanted to put you through. Don't nobody deserve that, y'all. I'm not, I'm not a fan of this lady at all. She is absolutely terrible to people. And her and Courtney need to go see the lady. If Adam picked up on it, come on now. And she's trying to tell him and me that she didn't flirt with Mecca. Why is she lying? I don't understand. Like, I'm not crazy. She basically said, your attention makes me happy. Not only his attention, but his time, his energy, his effort, his begging. Sorry, I'm gonna call it what it is. I think he was begging in some ways for her to like him. And I don't like that. Because if this was my son, if this was my brother, no, baby, you not doing that. And I better not see you come, I better not come over your house and you hosting and doing all this and she just sitting around. Her hands too good to work? I bet you she was living a life. He was probably in there, and you know he likes to cook for people, which is fine. But cooking, cleaning, planning dates, and asking her if she can just put her leg over you, you gotta beg for like a compromise on cuddling. Like, that's crazy to me. That is absolutely insane. Now, week 1 and 2, I understand. 3 and beyond, if you're not comfortable cuddling with your partner, what are you doing? He put his best foot forward. I think he's just happy he tried. But in hindsight, he probably agreed. I hope so, because that's crazy to me. You up here talking about I'm proud. You proud of being ignored for 8 weeks? What are you saying, Devin? What are you really saying? He was, and everybody likes Devin. Who doesn't like Devin? Like, I haven't heard not one cast member say anything bad about Devin. Like, sorry, y'all. I just got really chilly. Nobody dislikes Devin, and he's very selfless. Like, he will fight for his marriage when she's not trying. He will also stand up for his friends, because he did it for Nick when it came to Courtney, and on this trip when Nikki was being talked to crazy by Michelle. Did y'all realize he stepped in to try to find a middle ground? Nobody says anything bad about Devin, because he doesn't do anything to bother anybody. So what is her issue? That's why I don't like that little girl to this day. Like, she gets on my nerves. And her and Courtney. And Courtney with that whole TikTok video talking about, I can take accountability for Nick, but what, girl? And then basically proceeds to say that there's stuff in context that we're missing. But you said that. So I don't want to hear about stuff in context. I wish he would have left sooner. Me too. The phone queen, I absolutely believe that week 3 should have been his max. Like, if your wife gives you nothing 3 weeks into your marriage, I do believe that you should leave. Your wife should be planning dates with you. She should be excited to hang out with you by that point. And she should be willing to do different things with you. Like, I don't know. She wasn't willing to do anything with him off camera. It feels like he had to wait until the cameras came on for her to be nice to him. When he said, she don't even say good morning to me. You got a whole wife in your house that don't speak to you. That's crazy. That's crazy. Even day one, my mama raised me with manners. Caitlyn act like she ain't never met another human in her life. Not never. And then when she was talking to her dad, did y'all hear when she said, I had to get used to saying goodbye and telling him that I was leaving? Girl, common sense just must not be that common. You can't give someone a bad at it like Courtney. That was purely her and things she said. Absolutely. But if you go to her TikTok, there's a video of her trying to explain it away. She legitimately believes that I'm supposed to believe that it's all because we don't have all the context. There is no context for why you're cussing another man out. I'm sorry. Caitlyn crying. And I don't care about one, I mean not one tear. I don't care about no tears from Caitlyn. Do you understand me? Not one tear do I care about from Caitlyn. But she crying, and she all in the house crying. She outside by the tree crying. The camera got her crying everywhere. Anyways, she says, this is the most vulnerable experience I've ever had. This is vulnerability to you? My God. What were her partners getting before this if this is vulnerable to her? If this is vulnerability, you giving him nothing. You can't even get off your phone to talk to him at a concert. If she's giving this and she calls it vulnerability, what do her everyday relationships look like? Just at the table in tears. Babe, you my girl, okay? You are my girl for that. I hope he left without saying anything to her, just like she did to him for weeks, period. Because he doesn't owe her any explanation, any apology. This is self-explanatory. He told you to stop disrespecting him, and you did it again and again. Even the next morning when they had that conversation and she was talking to him, she was still being disrespectful, I feel. And see, y'all would have called him sassy if he did the same thing that I'm going to get to with Shawn and Nikki. But Shawn actually told Nikki, hey, you don't need to shout at me. Now, was he using the wrong word? Yes, but he actually should have said, don't escalate with me, because she wasn't yelling either, but she was escalated, and you could hear it in the pacing and the tone, right? Because when people get excited, they speak faster. They speak harsher. Like every word got that emphatic T on it. Is that what you think? Every letter has a little stress on it, right? And that's really what she was doing in that conversation, and so was Nikki. But we're going to get into that because I really do believe that these relationships have some serious power imbalances. And we're seeing that men are allowed to be disproportionately at a lower place, and we're comfortable with that. But women, when women are down here, because this is what we're mad at Mecca for, is making Belle feel smaller than him by calling her unattractive. We don't like that. We don't like that. We don't like it when Felipe has more power in the relationship than Tori. But why are we comfortable with Shawn having less power than Nikki, right? And why are we comfortable with like Nick? We let the Nick thing go on for too long, because they should have pulled him out of the experience when she was talking to him like that. That's not a safe environment for Nick. But anyways, we're way more comfortable with men in this space and their partners up here. But oh my gosh, when that power imbalance flips, we freak out. We freak out. Shawn said, let's talk this out. I do like that as well. Kay has been nasty and defensive in that convo. She was trying to get the last word in. He just sat there smirking because she was proving his point. Devin's not dumb. He hears what she's saying and he's not escalating. So he's able to calmly maneuver in those moments and let her make the clown out of herself that she is. Now, he did escalate the night before when she said the "shut the F up" to him comment. Like, that was terrible. And I understand why he escalated. And that's why he got himself up out of there. But I feel like he otherwise is very calm when he talks to her. And what he's doing is calling it toxic. I want to give it the right name because y'all know how I feel about this. I feel like we got to start naming stuff. She is verbally abusive to him. She is verbally abusive to him, and we need to be more like nail it when we say things. You are verbally abusive to this man, and I'm uncomfortable watching it. She's emotionally neglectful of this man, and I'm uncomfortable watching it. Courtney, we don't gotta say what she was. She was those things too. But I wish Nick would have said those words, because I think there's power that you take back when you say them. You don't feel bad about leaving somebody when you say that they're verbally abusive, right? You do feel bad when all you can say is that I gave up on my marriage. You didn't give up on your marriage, Nick or Devin. You let somebody go who was verbally abusive. And remove that blame from yourself. That's on them. That's not on you. I agree with you, the phone queen, and I'm fighting back. I feel like I'm fighting a battle that people don't realize they're even in, because I'm trying to spread the education, and the amount of people that will get in the comments and I will say something like, oh, Shawn was actually displaying XYZ here, and that was a positive trait. Do you know how many comments I have to delete saying that he's just a gay man? And it behooves me. Like, are y'all just slow? Like, do y'all not know how to read? Like, the comprehension skills are missing, babes. And do you see she posted like surviving Nick? No. I don't think a lot of men feel comfortable using that kind of language. Oh, I never thought about that men might be afraid to call their wives emotionally abusive. But okay, he can definitely say neglectful, because she definitely neglected him. She did not care for his heart. She didn't care for his well-being. She didn't care about his like needs as a person. Like, Devin had needs. Why do we feel like none of his needs need to be met in the relationship either? He was calmly asking, hey, can you spend time like on the couch with me at night? He was asking you for his needs to be met, and you weren't meeting them. That's weird. He asked you, can we progress with physical intimacy? And you want to wait until like 6 days or 5 days before decision day to start holding his hand and kiss, like rubbing his back and stuff. Like, that should have happened day 5. What are we doing? Not 5 days before decision day. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. She didn't care about him at all. As long as her needs were met, she could care less. I don't know. I'm just sick of her. I literally wrote in my note, Caitlyn was like, this has been the most vulnerable I've ever been. I feel so misunderstood. And I literally put in there, you're not misunderstood. You're rude, condescending, and give nothing to your partners. Like, that's literally all it is. You're not misunderstood, Caitlyn. We understand you just fine. You're selfish as a lover. You're rude to your partners. Like, why do they have to put up with this type of verbal abuse from you? I don't get it. And I think she's going to continue to have a hard time if she tries to date again. Because who's going to put up with this? Devin's the only man in the world that was willing to put up with this mess. Anybody else going to do that? Her wanting him to make the first move after weeks of neglecting him is crazy. And this is also the thing. If she would have made the first move and went in the bathroom, because he was in the shower at like 2:30 in the morning. If she would have went into the shower with him, or went into the bathroom with him and just told him get out of the shower and come to bed, that man would have ran to that bedroom. When I tell you, he probably, all of his force would have went into trying to get in that bed as fast as possible, forget drying off. He would have went straight from that shower into the bed. So why didn't you just be forceful about it? I mean, Devin is not, the thing is, right? Like, and maybe we're losing this as this gender war divide happens, but I've always felt like you could tell when a man really wants you or a woman. And at a certain point, like, it don't need to be too much of a conversation, correct? Like, I feel like at this point of the experiment, it is fair to assume that Devin would be okay with you going in the shower and tell him to get out. Exactly. Exactly. No, okay. So y'all were here yesterday. I know a lot of y'all heard me talk about the Mecca thing. But I feel like Caitlyn and Mecca owe him more of an apology than what Devin got. Devin's just too nice, y'all. I sound like Edmund from Love is Blind, but he is. He's just way too nice. Him going into Mecca's room that morning and saying like, oh, you know, we're splitting up. And he was like, you know, I feel like this is my part. Like, I played a part in this. I would have said you did. You did. This is your fault. Absolutely. Because at what point on a couples retreat do you start flirting with somebody else's wife? I have never been to a couples retreat where that is happening, or seen or heard of something like this before. I've never heard of this. Like, where they do that at? Because the whole point of a couples retreat is to work on your relationship. So when you start flirting with other people, it's your fault. You disrespected me and my own wife, period, babe. And they were so disrespectful to him. No notes. Then we got Cameron, salt in the wound. Cameron and Christina, what is her name? Michelle, they so messy. Cameron and Michelle have become one of my favorite messy peoples. I don't care. Like, I know people are like, take your foot off their neck. You know, why are you in these couples' business? Y'all need to be knocked down a peg. Yes, all of that, fine. But also, I love the mess, okay? I love the fact that Cameron comes in there and he's like, Mecca, the rumors are that you were trying to do a couple swap last night. And here's Mecca laughing. Pissed me off. Again, like, my patience is this thin after watching episode 17 going into 18. Because Mecca thinks it's funny. Meanwhile, the cameraman is just as messy as Cameron and Michelle, because he goes and pans to his wife, Belle Jolie. When he pans to Belle Jolie's face, did y'all see that Belle Jolie was crying and she put her head down away from the group? Did y'all see that? That Belle Jolie had her hands like this so nobody could see her, and she didn't want to cry over the table, so she was just like staring at the table. Oh, you didn't see Belle? The cameraman panned to her. Her eyes were red and watery, and I guess she just wanted tears to fall straight onto the island that she was sitting at with her breakfast. And so she just put her head down. But they were talking, because you know the island in the middle of the kitchen, and they were kind of like talking away from her. But like, when the cameraman is messy for that, but also it tells us how she really feels about it, because the night before she was kind of defending him when Devin was like confronting them, but she is really hurt behind this too. I agree with you, babe. Belle should have been cussing out Becca with the same energy Devin had for Kate. So while I think she did the right thing by not cussing him out, I will give her props. You know, I know it's the right thing to do, but I would not be mad at her if she had reacted the same way as Devin. I feel like she was trying to take the high road. You know, she's trying to be like Michelle Obama. She got, when they go low, you go high, but I don't know. Sometimes you might need to meet them. All while Belle is lying right there next to them. China, disgusting, terrible, awful people. she was on the couch with them doing the kiss handshake thing, like what, that was okay. She probably wasn't paying as much attention as we think she was, because it looks like she was still talking, because I saw her hand moving while they were doing the pinky promise. I don't know what they were promising, but I don't think she was paying as much attention to the fact that he kissed his own hand first, and then he went back and kissed Caitlyn's hand. And I didn't even catch it when I first watched it. So if she was running her mouth with Caitlyn and him, there's a chance she missed the second part. Kate and Mecca were together. Oh, so in her mind, and I don't know how she feels, but she seems very secure, kind of like that Tori effect. I'm gonna let him do what he want to do and hang himself kind of thing. But in her mind, maybe she didn't think that they were flirting at first, and when he brought it up, I would hope that she saw it, but I think it was just more so embarrassment. But she don't want to be embarrassed on camera, because that was also why she didn't get into the specifics of what he said about her body on camera. She said, we'll talk about it later. She did not want to talk about it there. Agreed, Trees. That man don't care. Mecca is the king of self-sabotage, y'all. I keep trying to tell y'all, if that man can find a way to end a relationship, he will. He will. Because he understands that he's going to hurt her at some point, so we might as well get it done now. No, Mecca was not. Mecca literally laid back on that couch and let Belle do the apologizing for him. And, or at least they didn't show us him apologizing the same night. They didn't. And I don't know that he did. It's just, ugh. Oh God, can you imagine? Can you imagine at our big age? Now at 22, 23, maybe. But when you start to get grown, can you imagine being married and having somebody have to check your husband for flirting with his wife in front of you as his wife? My God. Oh yeah, she definitely did. She said, I'm sorry. I heard that for sure. And that was not Caitlyn talking. Caitlyn was fussing back. She wouldn't have said sorry like that. That was definitely Belle Jolie's voice apologizing for Mecca on that CCTV footage. Mecca, Belle, and Nikki, they all drive back together, and he's Mecca on the back seat like a little kid. Mecca says that filter is not there, and I'm saying and doing whatever at the expense of other individuals. And he says that you know, he feels like this is all his fault and he's taking the blame. And they're like, no, don't blame yourself. Blame yourself. Blame yourself. Like, part of accountability is taking full responsibility for your actions. You cannot say something like that to somebody else's wife, or kiss their hand, or put your chain on them, and not take full accountability for your actions. And I hate that Nikki and Belle jumped into that mothering role with Mecca. Don't like it. Don't want to see it no more. Tired of it. Mecca has to find that balance for himself, and he's going to keep messing up until he sees the lady. So did y'all see that Nikki waited up for Shawn to get back home? Did y'all see that? She couldn't wait for that man to come back. That's the problem. They don't let him blame himself. I'm not going to keep combating your view of yourself when I know you're wrong. Correct. He needs both. I do believe that his mother should be more present for him to give him better advice than logic can give him. Yuck. But I also believe that he needs to see the lady on top of that. Go see the lady. And go sit on that couch every single week for the next year and get better. Trees, I completely agree with that, because for me, my issue is that if the apology doesn't come with a behavioral change, then there's no point in making the apology, correct? That's why I'm never going to be apologetic for being direct. I will apologize if it hurts your feelings, but I know I'm not going to change that about myself. So why would I apologize for being direct with y'all? What I'm going to say is, I'm sorry if this hurts y'all's feelings. However, this man need to go see the lady. And that's what he needs to do. That's honestly the way that I approach communication. And I think Mecca needs to do a better job of just stop. Don't apologize for it. Like, just say that's who you are. You're a messed up human being who does these things knowing that it's self-sabotage, but you can't get out of the loop. Stop apologizing. Just let people know that to expect very little of you in life until you fix this issue. Mecca and Belle have a separate conversation where he says it was all bad as a whole. And I agree, Mecca. You saying that she needs a boob job, terrible. Admitting to the guys that you don't find her as attractive, terrible. You young and hot stuff right now, needing your wife to be young and hot with you, terrible. Nothing was good at that retreat that Mecca said out of his mouth. Nothing. And turning around and creating some type of weird relationship with Caitlyn, who's also your wife's friend, weird. Weird behavior. Going to put her for a private chat outside after y'all just played a game and you told her that you would swap your wife with her, terrible. Terrible decisions all the way around. But he said it helped me learn a lot about myself. Mecca, you knew you were terrible because you came in here saying you were hoping you could hide it and it wouldn't show up again. So you're lying. Again, you don't gotta lie. Just say, I knew I had some bad habits before I got here. I lie a lot. And I now know I can't hide it as well as I thought I was. You don't hide it. You're terrible. I hope Belle says no on decision day. I hope so too. I hope so too. She put out a TikTok implying that she does. You guys got to stay tuned for the final result. I think is what she said on her TikTok or something like that. So then I found it because Michelle posted on TikTok saying you guys can go look at her video because I don't have to say anything, but y'all can go see her video about it. And yeah, it felt like she was implying that she was going to say no. The fact that he did it at all, the audacity of him, China, you ain't, I mean, did it start at the retreat or has it been ongoing? I think it's been ongoing. I think it started out very casual because I didn't pick up on it at first. But I went back, thinking back on it, he was talking to her way back when Nick planned that birthday party for, hold on. Nick planned a birthday party for Courtney because, Lord, I don't forgot about her already. But he was in that doorway talking to her, and that's why Caitlyn, when Courtney said, come get your boy, she was talking to Mecca. She was talking to Mecca off on the sidelines. So I think there was always a little bit of curiosity, and them staying in the house just expedited that curiosity or really amplified it for everybody else because y'all always were friendly with each other. And y'all just never had a reason to be in the same room together, really. Because Mecca and Belle do not hang out with any other couples besides Shawn and Nikki. That's the only couples I've seen them hang out with. Black people, you know we got to stick together. Him freely admitting he swapped wives was crazy, too. You wanted to take that bait. I agree with you. It was crazy. I do believe that I would have said the same thing Belle said. Belle said she wanted to be with Tori. I feel like that's fair. Like, I'm not going to jeopardize my marriage by talking about another man. Like, I would say a woman, never another man. Like, that's weird. He could have said something clever like, you know, I would be with Adam's dog or Marissa's cat. Like, he could have said something clever if he had to answer that question. But my soulmate is not going to be somebody other than my wife. That's for sure. No, she didn't leave it. She don't like Devin. I keep trying to tell y'all. That girl has never liked Devin. She was never going to give Devin a chance. But Mecca says at the end of the day, my answer is still going to be yes. Yes, Mecca, we know it's going to be yes. Because you are not the one getting hurt continuously. It is all up to Belle to carry the emotional workload of this relationship. Why would you ever say no on decision day? Does he not understand? Like, you're not risking anything. The risk is carried by Belle because you are comfortable. You're going to be just fine. He could have even said Nikki because I admire her and I would have. Yep. Kate was too close to home of an option. It's too realistic. Yeah. And she enjoyed it too much. That was really what cued me in, that something was weird about that. But for me, Mecca right now saying yes makes sense. Belle should say no, but she's already agreed to saying yes. I don't know if she's going to go back on her word with Mecca and say no on decision day. When she said that they announced it at the dinner that they were going to say yes to each other on decision day. And that's why I don't know why she would do that. She did not just smile. Girl, she was giddy. I mean, all her teeth were showing. That was more than a smile. She was jumping out of her skin, rejoicing that Mecca would pick her. Thank you, bag. That's exactly what she did. She melted into the couch when Mecca said that he would pick her. Caitlyn might, like, this might be more her type, and that's why she can't get into the Devins. But why do a show like Married at First Sight if you are not fully open to the spectrum? Because I've never seen it be done on this show, but I would go into it thinking I could be paired with a man of any race, any size, any height, any background, and I would have to be okay with that. So why come into the show if you have particular preferences with your partner? I'm open to a Devin. I'm open to a man that looks like this. I'm open to a man that looks like Shawn. I'm open to a man that looks like Cameron if I come on Married at First Sight. I cannot come on Married at First Sight and be picky. Mecca, Caitlyn, I cannot be picky about what that man looks like. I just want him to have my non-negotiables, which if you have 3, that's cool. For these people, I forgot what their 3 were, but it's like if you got 3 non-negotiables, I just expect them to check those boxes. But appearance is not going to be my non-negotiable on Married at First Sight. Are y'all okay? And Caitlyn doesn't have the body type Mecca described either. She is thick though. Caitlyn covers up with like sweaters and loungewear, but she's a thick girl. And not only that, I think she gives him play in a way that's a little bit more comfortable to Mecca, maybe, because the way she was spawning, she was like, yeah, you're really cool to me. Like, I feel really cool when you come talk to me. Like, I think like, I think it's just more flirtation that he's familiar with. Belle was very easy, but she was also very nurturing. Caitlyn's not nurturing. Maybe he likes a bit of coldness from women. And Caitlyn, I can see that. And maybe that makes him feel more comfortable because that's how the women in his life treat him. Very cold, keep him at a distance emotionally. That black cat preference might be there because think about it. Emotionally avoidant parents breed children who might be attracted to that. Yeah. Yeah, his version of thick is just different. Like, a solid build is how I would call Caitlyn. She's solid. Because if you look at her compared to Michelle, Michelle looks, and she's like, you know, she's healthy or whatever. But Michelle looks scrawny next to Caitlyn. No offense, but like Michelle is beautiful. Y'all know I've always said that. But I could see why Mecca would consider Caitlyn to be thick and be into it. She says she has like the athletic build type. But look at, okay, so I want you to look at how teeny tiny Mecca is. Gorgeous, just teeny tiny, right? Michelle is dainty, very dainty, but nothing wrong with that at all. And then in her wedding dress, look at how full she looks. You see that little rump back there, baby. She's a little thick comparatively, right? So I just think that nothing wrong with either body build. But it's just, I think that his preference might be more like a Caitlyn type. And personality wise, I think that he prefers the leash, that long leash that Caitlyn needs in order for her relationships to work. Caitlyn is emotionally distant, but so is his own mother. His mother don't even handle him with care. Can you imagine? Like, he probably thinks that that's the type of love that he's deserving of. And logic probably don't even show him any type of love and care and affection. So he's not used to this. This woman shows up celebrating birthdays. She don't never miss none of the holidays. She's on top of it with whatever you need. She's gonna get it for you. This is unfamiliar territory. That Mecca don't know what to do with this. Belle says it's not my job to heal him, but there is part of me that wants to stay here because I know I can help him be a better person. And she said that in her confessional. And I thought to myself, girl, for what? What value do you add to your life by making Mecca a better person for Caitlyn? Like, you realize you're at, he gonna move on when he gets to the other side, right? And you've invested all this time. He's still gonna find his Caitlyn. And he ain't like, Mecca's, but she would be really, really good for him though. She would be. That leaves me, she's not calling him out like Belle. Belle probably makes him face. I wonder, right, if he wants a woman that almost feels like she doesn't care about him, the same way Caitlyn felt like she didn't care about Devin. I wonder if he likes women who are emotionally distant, and that's why he's never been in a serious, like, actual marriage or fiance type of situation, never said I love you. Can you imagine if he only dates Caitlyn's who never are emotionally expressive? Like, that would explain why he's never said I love you to anybody, because Caitlyn would be turned off by that probably, or a woman like Caitlyn, and she would think he's love bombing her or being inappropriate. And if that's the kind of girl that he's used to having, she would probably be his preference. And by long leash, that's what I meant. Like, it's like you're there, but not really. I don't want to be bothered by you. I don't want you in my space. Exactly, Treese. Exactly. And love can also feel like punishment to him, because I think that that might be why the producers added that. Do y'all remember him saying something about his dad like beating him and giving him whippings and he would be scared of him? What does Caitlyn invoke in men? Fear. You either act this way or I punish you. And I wonder if his version of love for Mecca looks like how Caitlyn treats Devin. I like the fact that she's got like her claws in me, and whenever I act wrong, she scratches me a little bit and then I come back. And she lets me know that I'm a bad boy, right? Like, I'm just not worthy of the love. I'm not worthy of, you know, saying I love you too. And I don't know. That's how I feel. I think he sees that side of her, that coldness, as attractive versus a woman who easily gives vulnerability and love and care. Because I don't think Mecca knows what to do with that. I just don't. Let's see here. And then Mecca says there's healthier ways to explore that dynamic with consent. Agree. That's hilarious. There are healthier ways. That's not love, but abuse. Yeah. That's what he got from Logic, though. I really hope y'all understand that, like, being around Logic, I would never leave a kid with Logic. I cannot imagine Logic being a full-time parent and, like, what that looked like as far as the expression of love versus punishment. It was probably tilted towards punishment all the time. And that's how he feels about love. But Mecca and Belle have another conversation where Mecca says that we've had great times, but certain things have happened one too many times. And Belle says, well, he asks her what she needs to see or hear from him to want to say yes. And Mecca Belle says that she just wants to think about her own self-value and respect. And I would argue that, Belle, girl, we're past that point. You have already shown him that that's not a priority for you, and you're willing to put up with a whole lot of his mess. And so he continues to act this way because of that. The daddy would have turned my yes to China. I agree with you. Mecca being raised by logic would have been a big red flag for me in and of itself. I'm sorry. After he gave that speech, I would have been looking at Mecca sideways. Sideways. I know you can't help who raised you, but I'm gonna have to find out a lot more about you when I find out that Logic is your daddy. But yeah, I think that she's just past a certain threshold with Mecca where he feels comfortable playing in her face. And it's a bed of her own making, because nobody told you to sit up there and let that man play with you like this. The experts didn't tell you that. Your mama didn't tell you that. That's why she says she don't talk to her family about her relationships, because they probably be playing in her face and she know they gonna shut her down. Girl, you do not have to put up with this. Not at all. You do not. If you want to, that's your business, but you do not have to put up with this for 8 weeks. You can leave. And that's where I agree with Michelle, because even though Michelle is on her high horse, she ain't wrong. You do not have to stay with Mecca. Like, this can't be what I have to look forward to. Absolutely not. Right. and this is the thing. This is the thing, guys. I hate to say this because it does sound like I'm being negative. But the truth is that this is the dating scene. And when you see people who are single, instead of asking them, you know, like why they're single, just say, I'm glad you chose yourself. Because that's really what not being married a lot of times looks like, is that this is what you have to put up with and kind of work through. You don't have to do it for forever. Of course not, people change. But the dating scene is like this. There are Meccas all over the place. There are Shawns, there are Camerons every now and again. There's Felipes, and there's what's the other guy's name? My bad. And there's a few Devins every now and again. But baby, more often than not, you gotta choose between your Felipe or your Meccas. Yeah. You want to choose yourself as, like, just as a woman, you want to choose yourself sometimes. Like, you want to be happy. You don't want to have to always be shot down with these little jabs from your partner. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve that at all, actually. Speaking of that, I did want to say, um, Nikki and Shawn. So the 7 out of 10 conversation comes up again at dinner, or yeah, 7 out of 10. So in New York, but she's a 10 out of 10 in Seattle. And how did y'all feel about that conversation at the table? Exactly, Trees. How did y'all feel about Shawn and Nikki's conversation over dinner about that 7 out of 10 comment? The sass would take him out, right? Yeah, and right, China. I'm gonna be real. I skipped a lot of the stuff. Oh, okay. So let me just say this. Shawn and Nikki sat at that table, and she was saying that she learned a lot this weekend because, of course, Shawn was in New York. If y'all didn't know, his mother's 72nd birthday just passed, so he was in New York, and he wasn't there for most of the trip. He just was there long enough to put his bags in the room and take them right back out, basically. And the thing is that Shawn and Nikki have been having their own turmoil, so really not the greatest couple to talk about, but she was saying men can be disrespectful. And then it made me think of your whole 7 out of 10 comment for New York, but a 10 out of 10 in Seattle. And Shawn instantly knew Nikki was about to hit him with the BS. He was like, here she go. Here she go. I internally, I I feel like Shawn just be like, here, it's always something. It's always something, but you are always doing something, right? So, like, you can't get mad at her for constantly confronting you about the things that make you challenged or feel challenged. You just got to grow. And that's the thing. It's exhausting to do this process because for 8 weeks, you're growing every single day instead of every single month, right? Because normal couples might have one argument a month. In this process, you have an argument every single day sometimes because over little things that you notice. And I think it's just exhausting. And he's prepping himself for it. You can see he's just like, here she go. His comment was rude, but then she said something about his stomach. So I wonder why Shawn takes things too far. I don't know that I believe him. I mean, I don't have a reason not to, but for me, though, I don't know that she would have said that, but then I saw the look on her face and the disgust when she looked at him, and I was like, she thinks it. I wonder if, okay, here's what I think. I think that we allow petty from women in a way that we don't want to see it from men, which is funny because, again, it goes back to the women. Because remember, Belle never said anything about Mecca being unattractive or having unattractive tendencies. But as soon as she was given the opportunity to bring up the fact that he paints his nails, she did. I wonder if Shawn has felt like, since you find me unattractive, now is the time to knock you off your high horse and remind you I've seen better. And not to say that it was honest, but because he even admits that it was to be hurtful in response to his belly felt fat thing. You keep an arsenal, right, bae? So why is it that men are seen as sassy when they keep an arsenal? Because I honestly want us to start challenging that. Every time a man says something, if a woman said it, how would you feel? Yes, Treese. Okay, maybe from way back then, I could definitely see it. But recently, I don't see her saying that, but I do see the disgust in the way that she looks at him. Because when he brought up the whole thing, she looked him up and down and she's like, okay. Nikki, Nikki. And I do believe she feels what he's saying. I don't believe that she's missed the fact that he has a gut. I don't believe that Nikki is looking past his bald head. I don't think that Nikki likes them glasses he got on. If she would prefer that he get LASIK. I don't think she prefers a man with hips. I don't think she prefers a man with the rolls on the back, you know, right there, that bra line kind of way. I don't think she liked the titties. I don't. Okay? Okay? Everybody like what they like. If you like them, I like that for you too. However, I think he feels it. Because your partner doesn't have to say everything out loud for you to feel that they're unattracted to you. Your partner lets you know through signals sometimes. And she's signaling to him constantly that this is an interview, period. I'm testing this with you. Even the simple thing of I'm not proud enough to bring you around my family signals to me that something about me is shameful. Does that make sense? Like when I heard her say that, I was like, yikes. She is saying that because Dr. Lisa said it first. And then I think she said something like, I needed to feel proud of this relationship. And I was like, oh, Nikki girl, I would not have said that. Because what is there to be not proud of, correct? Like you have to then say why she's not proud to bring him around her family and friends. Why is she feeling like there's something wrong with him that he's not worthy of coming around? Because the belly pulling is the worst because she never tells on herself. Oh, gotcha, China. You feel like she actually did pull on his belly? I don't know. That's the thing. I didn't see it. I don't have enough evidence to say that he's lying for sure. But even without all of that, just by what we've seen between these two, actually seen on camera, I could say that there's a behavioral pattern where she is dismissive about his appearance. I think that's fair, right? We can all agree that from her behavior, she has let him know that she's not attracted to him in different ways. And she's a little bit ashamed of him at times. And so I want to say that that is something we have seen. And then I can make the assumption that even if he said that to her, he has a right to feel hurt. But you don't get to lash out at your partner because you're hurt. That's something children and teenagers do. Like, children do that a lot, and we're just expected to take it. And teenagers might even say to you, like, some mean things sometimes. But as a partner, I would hope that you're better than that. She just letting the disgust sit right in her throat. While she tries. I think Shawn knows it's going nowhere, so he's just doing and saying whatever because she don't like him anyway. So yes, it does feel like it's on the verge of coming through her tongue, and you could, I do feel like Nikki, ever since this day where she saw him, has never fully let go of his appearance being an issue for her. And why did you come on Married at First Sight? This is not the place for you. It is not. And nobody can convince me that any of the women are going to find people that match them. To be honest with you, I feel personally that women are just prettier people as a whole. If I got a room full of people, I could get 25 random women off of any corner, and all of them would be considered attractive to a general body of the population, correct? If I was to take everybody out of this chat, and I believe we're all women here, and if I did that, all of us would be considered, you know, 6s on up to 10s, right? Like, all of us would be generally attractive people. Men, not so much, okay? Because if I find 25 men, some of them gonna look like the bottom of your foot in the face. And that's just an expectation that I have when I look at men. It's just like, they're just not the fairer sex. And so why come on Married at First Sight if you know it's a barrier for you? It just is. She said dad bod without the dad. She did say that. And I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know if she did. I don't want to put anything on my girl. I don't want to put anything on either one of them, but he admits to saying the whole, and that's what I like about Shawn, is that if he's not ashamed of it, he's going to say that he said it. The only time we hear him dismiss something as though he didn't is if he's ashamed and feels like he's being put on the spot. Like, that's the only thing. But he admitted that he said it. He got vulnerable and said why he said it, because his feelings were hurt. And I do believe that that is a strength and not a weakness. However, naming a thing and changing the behavior, Mecca, is pointless. You got to change the behavior. If you're still lashing out at your wife, that's a problem. And the streets are saying they're still together. I hope they are in therapy. I'm sure they are. I'm sure that they are, because they probably needed it, and they knew that this was going to hit hard. When the thing is, you could be perfectly fine with your partner, but the public is going to put them under a microscope. And we are going to tear apart and dismantle everything about your relationship when you're on reality TV. And that's why I try to give grace, is because for the most part, the things that they argue about can be dealt with a therapist. I don't think that anything that they argue about can't be resolved. Him lashing out at her, common. I think we more likely see it from women though than men. I think women are more likely to lash out, but either way, no matter what, it could be dealt with in therapy, and those things are normal, right? I think she likes the lifestyle, and they both work hard. She's open to his suggestions on communication, and so I think that's a good sign. Oh, I definitely think they deserve each other. I have always stood by this couple. I actually really do like them together. It's just always going to be hard when you're 45 and above trying to get married. Can you imagine being 45 and above, joining your life together with somebody when you have been single for, like, never married for 45 years? You've never had to live. Nikki said she would throw people out for just being messy. Like, a marriage don't work like that. So can you imagine having to now spend the rest of your life with somebody with different ideas on how things should go in the house, different ways of spending money, different way of grocery shopping, different way of cooking and eating, different way of like lifestyle, because she goes to the gym a lot, he don't. Different, just everything. Can you just fully imagine that at 45? China. I was 38 when I got married. It was hard in the beginning. It is. And I'm glad that you said that, the phone queen, because a lot of the issues that I'm seeing with these couples are things that I feel you're supposed to experience in the first year of marriage. I think as a society, we've gotten so used to these long dating periods that end up going nowhere without commitment that we never even get to the marriage part now, because we're so scared of the commitment coming and then not enjoying the marriage part. But I honestly believe that this is the way that it was intended to be. You struggle, possibly, and sometimes you, every now and again, you get, lucky and you just perfect personalities match, finances match, homes, lifestyle matches, everything. Work schedule's not a problem. But for the majority of marriages, I do think it's supposed to be hard that first year of like adjustments. Like, even the times y'all wake up, like, okay, I don't need your electric toothbrush running in this bathroom. If you're gonna get up in the morning and go shower at 6 a.m. knowing I don't have to get to work till 11, go do that in the other bathroom. Like, don't come in here like stinking up the bathroom attached to the master bedroom. Go to the bathroom down the hall. Like, there are so many things that you fight about the first year of marriage that I just think are natural, especially when you don't live together before you get married, or before, if you're not together for 6 years before. They, you know, like I said, China, women are the fairer sex. And I believe that because my girl, even though she's a 7 to Shawn, she's more than a 7 to me. I think she was going to make anybody look good. Anything look good. All the women on the show are absolutely beautiful. And that's what I mean. It's hard to not find beautiful women. It really is. You gotta look. You gotta look to not find pretty women. And on top of that, people in long-term relationships begin to act like married couples without realizing the actual work it takes to be married when you can't just up and leave. Correct. And I think the stakes also change marriage. I'll never forget that Khalees and Nas were together for like 11 years before they got married, and then could only manage to stay married for 3. The stakes are higher, and for some people, when the stakes, oh guys, make sure that you guys like the live. We only have 7 likes, but there's 19 of us in here, so go to the actual page and like the live. That helps to boost it, and that engagement is so helpful. But also, people don't do well with commitment, and that's what really the issue comes down to. And it's funny because yeah, I will never understand that. People date for 5 to 6 years, get married, and then they're divorced within a year after. It has to be the stakes. It has to be. And why not? And if you're going to get married, right? And if you're going to have a hard time, why not just get a therapist? Y'all, put some work in, some elbow grease, something. Are we scared of hard work? I'm a Whoopi Goldberg type of lady. Ain't nothing wrong with living separately from your man. Listen, do what you got to do to make that thing work. But I'm not trying to get divorced within a year when I've been dating you for 5 years. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. So I don't know. But Nikki and Shawn, I think that like after that, I see where he was coming from. He was lashing out at her. I want him to work on that because that can't keep happening. And Nikki says that I really leaned into being intentional. We should endeavor to fight fair. Again, she is giving a performance review to her husband. That is how I would speak to my coworkers. We should endeavor to disagree civilly. In a marriage, I really want you to meet me where I'm at and say, hey, you hurt my feelings, and I would rather us not fight in that way so that we don't hit below the belt and we can make a more productive argument when those times happen. Like, that's honestly, There's no, take the managerial hat off, girl. We are no longer in the HR office. Talk to your husband. What's happening? 24 years and takes a lot of work. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love when I get my married women in the room who are like, because people look at me like I have a tolerance, and maybe I do have a high tolerance for conflict, because I understand that life is conflictual. Everything is going to come with conflict. And every relationship that you're in, I hope you feel like it's worth fighting for. They got to let go of the office speak. They killing me with that. Exactly. Exactly. I don't understand why you got into a relationship when you just want a coworker at home. Like, what are you doing? I don't want another coworker. However, she says she doesn't hold anything against Shawn and it's done. So we're gonna see if she moves on. But she was talking about this for 3 episodes straight, my girl. Like, Lord have mercy. Do you really let it go? Because it sounds like you mad about it. Now let's talk about the fight between Nikki and Shawn, because I do think that that's like a huge part of this particular episode is the fight. Shawn says, do you feel like you've already made a decision? And she says, I haven't made a decision. How have you not made a decision 24 hours before you are to go to decision? Is everybody who says this okay? Because for me, if I am choosing to get married or stay, I know. I'm not walking in blind, and you better tell me what you know too. Don't you come over here talking about you don't know whether you want to stay married to me or not. Thank you to whoever is hearting this. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys go to the main page and also like the live. I can't imagine showing up to decision day not knowing what I'm gonna say. Do you want to stay married or not, girl? Anyways, she said I'm gonna pray on it. Shawn said I ain't never heard that before. I love how messy Shawn is, okay? Because first of all, he's calling her out. You trying to act like you all prim and proper on this camera, and we know you don't be talking to the Lord like that. And she was like, well, on important decisions, lady, stop playing on this TV. You all pious and buttoned up. No, I know the real you. And I like that Shawn be calling her out like that. I don't think she likes it. Shawn says, how does it feel? Oh, okay. So I'll answer you. Shawn says, how do you feel to be packing up your wedding dress? And Nikki says, it's the end of a chapter. I'm excited to see what the next one looks like. And I think it's funny because, and I do think it's funny because what he's actually asking her is like, are you sad to be leaving like here, and are you excited to be with me? And she's trying to avoid it like the plague. Baby, she don't want to answer. She just wants you to leave her alone, Shawn. She ready to get her dress and get up out of here. So the main page of YouTube looks just like this, and you can like by hitting just the regular like button up here. So you actually have to go out of the live and hit that little like button right there on the actual main page, because you can't do it within the live. So you got to leave out and go there to like it. Yeah, I agree with Shawn too. Shawn is funny, but I agree with him. When he right, he right. When he wrong, he wrong. And I'm gonna call him out. But he won't wrong here, because I don't know if he was wrong about the last thing, because I didn't see it. But him calling her a 7 out of 10, wrong. You did wrong. I know you a 10, Shawn, but let her believe she's a 10 too. No, babe. So when you double tap the screen, you actually send hearts, I think. You actually send those little hearts that are coming up. I think that's what happens. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you. I appreciate you. She said, Tree said, if you tap the little person icon with the thumbs up under your username, the like button is there. Love it. Yeah, the hearts are something different, but that does serve a purpose of showing that you guys are engaging with the live, because you can go in there and send different types of emojis throughout the live, which definitely helps. But from the perspective of this getting reposted, I want to make sure you guys are liking the live, because we should be sitting at 18 if we got 18 people in here. But this is what I really want to stay attached to this video. Perfect, bae. So then Shawn asks her the questions that really matter, right? Okay. So Shawn says, now I'm going to ask you a feeling word. I'm going to say that again. Shawn says, now I'm going to ask you a feeling word. Word. Okay. Instead of her saying exactly what her feeling word was, she says, I feel proud we made it through this wild experiment. He says wild. And then she said, and then I put ... was going on for a while. And then Shawn says, you don't have to give a speech now. And then he laughs it off. And Nikki says, I'm not saying anything else. And I didn't catch it at first. I'm still typing away, right? So I'm trying to make notes on everything. So I'm like, whatever. She's all right, I'm not saying nothing else. And I thought she was just going to get her bags and go. And then it stopped, and then Shawn said, I feel like you feel frustrated. So I looked up at my TV screen and I was like, what did I just miss? Let me rewind it back, because I thought maybe because I was typing, I was not paying attention. And I realized I did not miss anything, and this was actually the start of a fight. Oh, you're okay. And she said that she feels frustrated because you cut me off. The communication I prefer is to be empathetic and kind and compassionate, for you to let me say my piece. And Shawn says, can you please lower your tone? Don't start screaming at me. That's not going to help us. And I said, ugh, this is not going to go well, because he's correcting her again instead of listening to her, which is what Nikki wants you to do. Can we agree that this is Caitlyn 2.0? Or do y'all still feel like I'm being too harsh on Nikki? Because I know a lot of people are going to say that I'm being too harsh on Nikki, but I feel like that was a Caitlyn move to deflect from what he was trying to say instead of just hearing him. And to accuse him of saying something wild, that is also a very Caitlyn move, when really what he said was something that I would have said too. Oh, sorry. I say it to my mother all the time. You done been all around the world. Now come on home, land the plane, baby. So Nikki was there for the dress. So I'm looking at my TV and I'm like, there has to be something I'm missing. I didn't miss anything, y'all. This was legitimately how this argument started. I could not find anything else that maybe I missed. But I think too, she deflected from what he was saying, because here he was just joking and he laughed. And I think that that communicates something too. When people are dead serious or being rude, they typically don't laugh, because I would have continued. And like I was saying, and I think that that's the difference. She gets in her head about it instead of going with it. And I'm gonna finish what I gotta say. Do you know how many times I've been told that by people I'm dating? Girl, you still talking, show lamb. And let me tell you about what I did on Monday. I don't pay y'all no mind, because I'm going to say what I got to say. And if I go around the world, then you just take it for what it is, I guess. Enjoy the conversation. I'm not going to sit here and get in my head about it to the point where I'm not able to like let it go. That's crazy. Anywho, Nikki says, oh no, he asked her to use the tools that Shawn gave them. Let us talk and listen to us, correct. And I'm not going to think about it though. I'm never going to start an argument over this. This is not argument worthy to me. If I'm going to start an argument with my man, it's going to be over something real. It is not going to be over the fact that he said I talk too much, because whatever. And if I do, where you going? Nowhere. Sit down and shut up and listen. He said use the tools that Paul gave him, which is how you feel, how are you impacted, and then validate. Okay? I love that. I love that. Nikki did calm down when she used the tool, so it worked, because I could feel her escalating when she was speaking to him before. And that's why I read it so fast, is because Nikki said it that fast. She literally started ramping up her speed because as she was getting escalated, she wasn't yelling. I think he used the wrong word. Tone wasn't an issue. It was more so her cadence of speech. She was preaching at him and fussing at him without raising her voice, because the two things can be true. A lot of people feel like if they don't yell at you, that she's somehow right, but she was escalating and he wanted to de-escalate because he saw where it was headed, which was nowhere positive. You don't need to do all of that. The communication I prefer is to be empathetic and kind and compassionate, for you to let me say my piece. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay? That's a lot in response to, what did he actually say? He said, that's a lot in response to, you don't have to give her speech. That was all he said. What she turned that into was 10 times more serious. Gives her added reason to maybe say no. Probably, I could see that argument. But unless she says yes, then it's like, girl, you just like fussing. You just like fussing. Because ain't no reason to do all of this if you're not trying to fuss. I love how he corrects her. She had no choice but to course correct because it was a greater tool and she didn't even want to think about it. Like, that's the thing. When people get agitated, sometimes the tools go out of the window. So it is up to the other partner to step up and say, actually, here's a better way to resolve this. So I really am glad that Shawn course corrected before it went downhill. Nikki changed her tone and slowed it down. She said, I'm frustrated by you cutting me off. And you could see as she was explaining it that her layers, her walls started falling down. And she actually did sound calmer and more relaxed. I would like to be able to show up as my full, authentic self with my husband. And then how do you feel didn't even sound personal. Girl, nothing you say sounds personal. So also the both of y'all don't sound personable. Both of y'all sound like corporate, like lawyers when y'all speak to each other, trying to indict one another instead of finding a solution. And if you started being more goofy and silly with him, maybe this wouldn't happen so often. Like, maybe if somebody said something to you, instead of getting in your head about it, you just started joking back at them. Like, you don't be in here going on tangents too, Shawn. Shut it up and listen. I would have done anything besides start an argument over this. Shawn does explain his intent. So he's following the rules that Paul gave him. He says that my intent was to understand how you feel. My intent was never to govern you. Exactly. My friends would have laughed in his confessional. He said that to her. He said it in the confessional, yes, because he's right. It was no reason. And that's where I think they are so different. His friends probably also laugh at his sexual innuendos as well, because a lot of men do. They think it's funny when they draw penises still. Like, a lot of men laugh at very different things, and a lot of women too. And if that is his way, then right, are you guys going to fight about it, or just say that he's just different from you? And that's okay. Your partner is allowed to have a different sense of humor. Your partner is allowed to maybe say things, and you just gotta be quick enough or sharp enough to catch it when they're throwing shade or about to say something kind of nasty. Like, sometimes you got to stay on your toes with your partner. And so if you know that about them, that they like to make innuendos, or they like to be witty with you, or they like to like throw little shady digs in there, say something shady back. Say it back. Like, y'all gotta learn how to keep up with each other. And if it were truly to a point where you're like, listen, I'm exhausted, not in the mood to be witty with you, then just say that too. Lead with that. You don't have to start an argument to prove a point about it. Nikki also says, I accept your apology. I'm glad we get time alone, and I just want to be clear on what I want on decision day. Do you see how she creates uncertainty for him because she knows she holds the power in this situation? She knows that the power is with her, yes or no, not his. And that's why she's comfortable leaving him in a state of uncertainty, because I wouldn't do that to somebody. I would never do that. Going into decision day, my partner will be very clear on whether it would be a yes or a no, because I don't want to embarrass them. I don't want to make them feel like they were blindsided on decision day. But she knows she won't be blindsided. He gonna say yes. And it is all up to her, as it's been the whole season. Nikki has been the deciding factor. Is he too sexual? Is he too much, too negative? Does he do XYZ? Do I like his humor? Is he too crude or crass with me? She's aware that she's the one evaluating him in this relationship. He's not evaluating her. She's evaluating him. And because she knows that, she moves like this. But this is actually very inconsiderate. To leave decision day up in the air. Am I the only one that thinks this? Because y'all are quiet. But I hope y'all caught on to the fact that she is his evaluator. And she's the one deciding for the both of them if this marriage moves forward. And she says this last part, which I know she didn't know this was going exactly, babe. I know she didn't know how this was going to play out from, like, what's the word for it? Like, from an editing standpoint, you don't know when you're on the show how this is going to play out on television. So she didn't know this, but her saying this was edited really badly. She says, if we stay married, am I going to get the safe Shawn or the real Shawn? Or who she thinks the real Shawn is. And so that was bad editing, because if they do stay together, right, for a lot of women out there, they have been saying that he's unsafe. And that further proves their point. And I hate that she used that word, because for a long time I've been saying he does not give me unsafe. He might give me a very decisive, to the point, very direct, very straightforward, a little bit agitating sometimes, but I could say the exact same thing about her. Super professorial, super HR manager. That hat never comes off for the both of them. But her using the word safe to describe him, I think it's going to bite them in the butt, because now it gives everybody that wanted to say he was unsafe, and that's the reason why production should have stepped in and ended their marriage. They're going to feel justified in making that assumption that he is unsafe. And I do not like that she used that word, but I know she didn't know how they were going to edit this. So her saying it was probably just what, you know, just like, you don't think too hard about it. So, that's kind of where they leave it. But did I forget to say anything, y'all, about Shawn and Nikki outside of that? I think I got everything from them. Like I said, I'm going to, the live from yesterday just aired. If y'all give me 10 minutes after this, after we finish up here, I'm gonna go in and put timestamps in so y'all can see where we talked about all the couples from last night's live inside of there. But also, this one's gonna go up tomorrow, so you guys can continue to watch this. Also, if you haven't already, go like my last video that I just posted, because it was about episode 17. I already put it up today at 12. It's a whole recap if y'all want to listen to it. But like it, share it, do what you want with it. But it is up and ready for your review. I put it up today at 12 noon. They both really express the same things, to be fair. What do you mean by that, Trees? You either know or you don't know. Nothing is changing in a night, period. Because we're not even talking. How we gonna change something and we not talking? We can't, we're separated for the night. Like, do you really need to clear your head? You should have thought about this on the couples retreat. You had plenty of time by yourself. He wasn't there. Why couldn't you think about it on the couples retreat? Now, decision day, I think it's decision day, because that would explain why Tori and Felipe were all dressed up. You know, on decision day, you wear, see ya. You know, on decision day, Tori and Felipe are in the suit and tie, and Tori is in her dress, right? This is where the whole thing comes from. Felipe says this dumb stuff. I've never made any 100% decisions. You have everything I want in a partner. The way you embrace my family and take care of people. And he was like, you're so nurturing. And I was like, all of these words tell me that he wants another caretaker. Men don't be wanting wives, or they don't want to be husbands. Men want to be children. Like, I won't even say cared for, because we all want to be cared for emotionally and mentally. But like, men really want to be children in a relationship. Period. The phone queen. I think men want moms. And Tori saying that, I mean, sorry, Felipe saying that to Tori is crazy to me. Everything he described about her is how I would describe my mom to somebody. That's not how I probably wouldn't name those as the top qualities for my partner. I think they're wonderful like qualities, but you being nurturing to your family members and nieces and nephews, that's not a top quality for me. A top quality would be how you care for me, right? Like, you're supportive of my dreams and ambition. You go out of your way to make sure that my life is easier, that we communicate together effectively. All of those things are important to me in a partner, but not that you nurture and care for people and that I haven't made 100% decisions in my life. You got married, Felipe. Is that not 100%? Sorry, y'all. I thought getting married was 100% decision. How you get married and what is that, a 95% decision? Like, how do you... Sometimes I don't know. I use Chat GPT for his speech. I don't know what kind of decision he thought marriage was going to be, but it is 100%. It requires 100% of everything from you. Marriage is hard. Tori says, I don't know what to say. After moving out, Felipe and I had a conversation that I didn't anticipate. It wasn't filmed, but she's hurt. She says that he seems cruel and heartless. That's also what makes me... What was this conversation, y'all, that she feels like she has to call him cruel and heartless? What? This is at the end of the episode. What could he have possibly said that made her feel like he was cruel and heartless? Because I think that that's more than a request to have an open marriage, right? You wouldn't call somebody cruel and heartless because they wanted to have an open marriage. You would only say that if they said something like, you're not desirable, I don't enjoy being with you, you're not pretty enough for me, or I don't want to have children with you because I'd be worried about the genes you might pass. Like, those things sound cruel and heartless, not necessarily an open marriage. And then he says he regrets it heavily and he's sorry for that. He said something to her that was cruel, y'all. Really, really mean, really, really ugly and nasty. I don't know what it was, but I do feel like he had to have said something really mean in their conversation off camera. And I don't know what he said. What do y'all think he said? Like, because now that I'm reading it back, I'm like, even my initial thought that it could have been like money related, or maybe he took money from the family business. You know, I thought it was going to be a huge revelation, but even that doesn't even make sense anymore. If it's heartless, I don't know. And do y'all think that Marissa and Adam are going to say yes on decision day? Because I would be shocked if they did. Marissa and Adam need to say no on decision day, and I know they're talking about future plans, living together, where they're going to live downtown. He's willing now to compromise and move and uproot his lifestyle for her. And I'm like, is this because you thought you was going to die from the COVID and flu and you saw how helpful she could be in those times? Like, what caused you on your deathbed to change your mind? I have a feeling that whatever he says is not going to be a good enough reason for me, and that's why I think Marissa needs to leave Adam. It's like something right there. I really want to know too, maybe something about her past. He wanted to hurt her. Maybe. I hope she tells us. I hope she tells us at the reunion. I hope she drops the bomb about what it could have been. And we can find out, because when is the reunion for this show? Do you guys know? Because they're all starting to come out the woodworks now and start talking about their experience on TikTok. Y'all, Give me some behind the scenes tea. I can't wait. Like, give me something because I wonder when this reunion is gonna be. Mm. Yes, we'll be here on the 31st on YouTube. If you guys want to go ahead and get your notification bell turned on, I have it under my live section. You guys can get notified when I go live on August 31st. And you guys can get notified, like it'll just drop down as a notification on your iPhone to that I'm live at 11 p.m. August 27th. Y'all, that's this week. Oh my God. I'm going to have a million YouTube videos to put up. We're going to be going live every single day and from now up until the reunion because I am going to be reviewing Love is Blind UK season 3. So every day from now until August 31st, we're going live on YouTube. You guys might as well prepare yourself. Now on Monday and Thursday of this week, it might be a little bit later because I'm working and and I can't hop on right at 5, but even if it's later, I'll try to let you guys know when it is. If you guys are watching my stories, you'll probably see something about it. Whenever I post a new video, like a recap, I always put that in my stories as well on TikTok so you guys don't miss anything. So hopefully you guys are checking and paying attention to my stories. There's no way they gave us that big cliffhanger to not tell us nothing. They better tell us something. Not you giving the people an ultimatum. I don't know what they're going to say at the reunion. I can tell you right now, I don't think any couple is making it to the reunion. I don't see that. I don't see how they're gonna make it. I feel like the foundations were not laid very well by the experts. I honestly believe that these people need intensive marriage therapy in America. Okay, where arranged marriage is not the normal. People are more likely to just walk away anytime there's any conflict. We don't care about divorcing. We specialize in divorcing here in this country. I feel like we don't really fight. We be like, listen, I'm not gonna be uncomfortable for nobody. So I think that's why there might not be any couples by the time we get to the reunion. Now, editing is messy. They got to tell us. They are, but that's what I love. I love messy producers and editors. Baby, y'all can say what y'all want to. I love messy people. I sure do. I showed, and it ain't got nothing to do with me. That's the best type of messy. I love messy producers. I love messy editors. I love the messy cast members. Cameron and Michelle, messy, messy. And I'll take it 10 times over because they going to keep up. They gonna keep up. You gotta watch my review. I cover episode 18, the review. I haven't edited it or uploaded it, so I'm gonna try to get that up for y'all either Monday or Tuesday at noon, okay, for episode 18. Try to watch the recaps, y'all, because I do have timestamps where y'all can jump ahead to the couples y'all want to watch, but try to watch them because it does help to push us out there when people actually watch the videos. I know we go live and I appreciate y'all for joining me, but also too, I remind myself, like, y'all are sitting at home cooking and cleaning. Put that on in the background. Last night I was trying to find something to fall asleep to, and I was like, y'all, have y'all watched the interview with the vampire? I started reading Lestat, his like book out of the series last night, and I fell asleep on that book, but it was really good. I have to go back and re-listen. That is why we watch. Yes, you've been watching it? Okay. They just gonna have a woman's couch and a men's couch at the reunion. That's what they had to do last season. Did y'all watch last season? The women the women all left their husbands last season. They couldn't stand the men. And like at the end, it was like a mess. Nobody liked nobody from last season. It was just messy. Like last season was messy. And the mom and daughter duo, now they have their own podcast from last season of Married at First Sight. And I don't know, y'all. Love is Blind UK season 3. Y'all watch it. Because I do want to review that here. Okay. Who do y'all think the villain is? If y'all have watched Love is Blind UK, who do you think the villain is? But then I didn't get the sense that the men even liked some of the men. Like some of those men look like they hated Jake, I think was his name. Love is Blind is on Netflix. So that's Netflix. Yeah, Love is Blind UK season 3. It's only 8 episodes, but I've taken all my notes. I am going to release videos on TikTok as well, but y'all know the way my life be set up. Your girl be busy. So I yeah, so I've already watched it, already taken my notes. I'm gonna come back tomorrow so we can discuss Love is Blind as well. And then, oh, you can't afford Netflix, don't worry about it, boo. Just come in here and chit chat with us, because y'all know I break down every scene. So even if you haven't been watching, that's why I do that, and I take notes, because I don't want to skew your opinion. So I actually like write down what they say so that it's not a issue. Like, I'm gonna put my little sauce on it after I read what they say, but hopefully recapping the full scenes helps. And I'm putting recap videos up so you can watch those, but my recaps don't go into the same depth, because I know nobody's sitting for a 2-hour recap. Y'all gonna give me about 20 minutes of attention to get through the whole episode. And so I got a lot to say in 20 minutes, so I can't really go into depth about how I feel about everybody on the show. But for Love is Blind, really, really good show. The seasons have got wilder and wilder. The US is the worst. Jesus. The US, I don't know where they getting these people from. It's like, if there was ever a hot mess of a cast, like, we gonna find the worst of the worst in every city. The UK one feels more natural and authentic. Do those people still have issues? Yes, but not like the USA cast. I've watched Poland, I've watched Germany, I think is the other one, and then I've watched some other ones along the way because they've got all different types. Oh, there's also Love is Blind Habibi. Habibi was really, really good. Love is Blind Habibi, I don't know if it's coming back, but that show was amazing. I've watched so many Love is Blinds at this point. They're all running together. I think Love is Blind Mexico, Love is Blind Brazil, because that was where I learned about certain religious practices in Brazil. Anyways, yeah, we've covered so many things on my lives throughout the year, this last year, and so many different shows. So I want to bring that to YouTube so that the reality TV community, I can interact with them here. We just got to be more intentional with our engagement with my content to actually get YouTube to push it out to new people. So until next time, guys, remember to check out the recaps. Remember to check my TikTok stories for more. And remember to subscribe. And I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.